I walked into a GameStop for the first time in 3 or 4 years. When did LA Noire come out? Was it 2010 or 2011?
Yeah.
2010?
2010 or 9. You know, if
10,
you didn't fucking
10.
hem and haw on it, you could have bought a fucking copy of Mario Kart 8 from my store, asshole.
Did you have the free download code?
Every copy has a free download code.
I had a GameStop gift card I had for 2 years. I had to use the damn thing. What else am I going to buy at a GameStop? They're $40 used 360 Xbox 360 controllers. I'm going to do that? No.
A sweet set of Turtle Beach name callers. Whatever.
They had a whole Turtle Beach display of
a whole Twiddle Beach.
Twiddle Beach.
A whole Twiddle Beach.
Hey, I'm Rocksteady now.
Twiddles.
Hey, Twiddles.
Hey, Twiddles.
So I walk into the GameStop to get Mario Kart 8 because I got a Wii U refurbished. By the way, the refurbished Wii U I think was new. From looking at it, I opened it up. It had the new system smell. There were no scratches or marks on it. It had, like, well, you know what? They put that like thin styrofoam thing that you peel away. It was new. I think the only thing they changed was the box. The box had a red red label, red band on top that said that it was refurbished. But I think it was actually either new old stock or stock that got returned from those hoarding assholes that sold 30 and tried to sell them that return them and store sending back or something. I don't think this was fixed.
My buddy John said his came to him in like new condition as well.
Yeah. The only thing
it was in really good shape.
The only thing it didn't have, not this is an advertisement, but the only thing it didn't have, being that they don't have a deluxe version anymore, it wasn't technically the deluxe version in terms of it didn't have like the cradle to hold it in, but it had everything else. Like there's like cradle for the gamepad, I think that it originally had.
Oh, it's just a little piece of plastic.
Yeah, it didn't have that, but it had the HDMI cable. It had the sensor bar, which is I guess the same as the Wii one.
It is.
And it had the two AC adapters to charge for the system and to charge the gamepad. That's basically what it had. So I'm going to a GameStop, and I guess this either means that I'm getting really old, or GameStop is getting obsolete and irrelevant, or maybe a combination of the two. Because I walk in and it just seemed like, I don't know, the way everything was set up, it didn't seem inviting at all. I don't want this to be totally bag on GameStop, but they had just first of all, the Wii U section was incredibly small. It was almost literally the size of the shelves of games here.
I know.
So they're not pushing Nintendo at all. Maybe because Nintendo doesn't do all these exclusive deals, like Sony and Microsoft does. The 3DS section was off in the corner for some reason, like the left corner, which is really strange, being that the 3DS is so super hot. It wasn't next to the Wii U section. For some reason, when the Sony handhelds was next to the Sony consoles.
I was going to ask you if you could even spot the Vita section. Because the last time I was in GameStop, it was like a blue cardboard box that said Vita on either sides. No, I'm not kidding. It was basically a shoebox that they had stuffed Vita games in.
Well, there was a big sign, big nice display saying, as of September 1st, they're not going to accept trade-ins on UMD games anymore. PSP UMD games. That's over with. So I guess that means we're going to stop selling them entirely.
Good. We stopped taking them loose. The fucking glue on them dries out over time, cracks, and the games fall apart.
But this is what was weird to me. I just personally, they had a huge ass wall of all used 360 games. That just caught my eye more than even the PS3 used section. It was large. I don't see them moving a good chunk of those.
No.
I just don't. So this leads me to the point of, will GameStop be totally out of business in 10 years or 15 years? It's going to happen. It's just, is it going to be a decade or two or in between? Because I just, looking at the store, I'm like, is this needed anymore? You can go to any Best Buy, Target, any mall and buy this stuff. You don't need specialized game stores for new games anymore. You don't.
Certainly not for new ones. I think the other thing you have to keep in mind, though, and this is in no ways defending GameStop, but this is just a problem we have with space as well. With things like PS2 and onwards, so PS2, Xbox, and definitely Xbox 360, and to a smaller degree PS3, because it did end up doing all right, but it took a long time. Games are way more popular now. It was easy for Luna Video Games to take the PS1 section from something big and very quickly over the course of a couple months work it down to something small so that we had space for a newer system. But now that PS2 and things like Xbox 360, they sold so well, you just have a far greater volume out there. And everyone's going to sell that shit back when they want a newer system. So what the fuck do we do with all of this stock as soon as people stop buying it? Essentially, for GameStop, it's how do you clearance it out?
Sure.
And for people like us, it's how do we get it down to 2 shelves on a rack so that we can use the rest of the rack for the new stuff.
Sure.
It's a very difficult thing, and I don't envy them in that. I don't fucking envy GameStop in any way. But they don't have any space in those stores.
They don't.
I mean, people. It's funny because people will come in, like, used to walk into like our Voltaire shop, and now our Voltaire shop is small. And they're like, "This is so tiny." But if you compare the square footage to something like the GameStop that used to be on Midway, I mean, it was no smaller. It was honestly no smaller in terms of wall space. I mean, these are shoe boxes that they're packing these stores into.
Your Luna store in OB was just the same amount of space, if not a little bit, I'd say, bigger, comparable to the GameStop.
Right, and that was a small house, the first one, that was basically what it was. Yeah, so I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, they're gonna have a tough time moving that, and and the companies aren't helping places like that either, because people go there to buy new stuff. It's not like people who come to Luna who come to enjoy the wide spectrum of games. Where where literally a lot of my sales are someone who's picking up an NES game, a PS2 game, and an Xbox 360 game,
sure,
because they're going all over the place. These are people who are only there for the new stuff. So it's just it's never gonna move for them. At some point, they're gonna stalemate on it.
Yeah, and of course we talk about.
I'm sorry. My whole point. I'm sorry. The companies aren't helping because there's no backwards compatibility anymore. Sure. So these people have already gotten rid of the systems they could play this on anyways.
Plus, as we talk about the next generation, physical media is going to die out.
Yeah.
So when that happens, what happens to GameStop? They have nothing to sell, obviously.
They sell download codes.
They do.
So I know. So
which is ridiculous.
So if you want to get off your couch, you go out and waste the gas money to buy one.
I didn't tweet it out. I took a picture. I should have tweeted. It was surreal that in the Wii U section, they had NES games in DVD cases for $4.99, and it was the download code. It was the most ass backwards thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was so okay. Yeah, like you said, you're gonna go to a store. First of all, it's a game that you've bought before multiple times potentially. And for $4.99, you're going to pick this off the counter or take to the guy and say, hey, give me the download code for this game that I could have just went on my Wii U and purchased.
And I know the idea is that so if someone wants a gift, it's at the last minute. And
is that what it is, a last minute Legend of Zelda code?
Yeah, someone, well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Stocking stuffers, shove it in a card, mail it off, whatever. I get that, but I just don't see that sort of business being enough for them to justify selling a code that I can get on my couch.
Sure. So 15 years, it'll be gone. GameStop, I think. They already closed a bunch of stores.
They closed a bunch, and they're converting a bunch into places where you can now buy, sell, and trade your iPhones, tablets, and smartphones.
That'll be fun. I didn't see any in this store, but like I said, there was a little Toidle Beach section.
Toidle.
And then they had like I said, they had the 3 consoles lined up. At least they had a Wii U one. They had the PS4, Xbox One. And then they had the kiosk for the Wii U, and the 3DS was off in the corner. It was like the sad corner for some reason, which they should be banking on the 3DS.
Yeah, really.
I mean, really.
I know.
So, Godspeed, GameStop. I'll see you again in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.